The heavy oak door of the waterfront mansion slammed shut behind Gabrielle Harlan with a finality that echoed through the empty halls of her West Palm Beach estate, but it was the music, faint, lilting jazz from an old record player, that stopped her cold. She dropped her leather briefcase in the foyer, heels clicking sharply as she followed the sound, her heart pounding from the boardroom battle she just escaped, only to stumble into a scene that shattered her armored world. Her maid Hope, twirling in the living room with Gabrielle's deaf twin daughters, their tiny hands fluttering like butterflies in perfect sync to the rhythm. In that instant, as Lily and Rose's silent laughter lit up their faces brighter than the Florida sunset bleeding through the windows, Gabrielle felt the first crack in the fortress she built around her grief-stricken heart. A crack named longing, whispering that maybe, just maybe, she wasn't as alone as she'd convinced herself. Gabrielle hadn't hired Hope Ruiz for her dance moves. 3 months ago, she'd needed someone reliable, someone who could handle the chaos of twin 6-year-olds without batting an eye at the Harlan family fortune, or the ghosts that haunted its gilded edges. Hope had shown up for the interview in a crisp white blouse and jeans, her dark eyes steady, resume modest. 5 years nannying in Miami, fluent in Spanish and ASL, a community college dropout who traded dreams of Broadway for the steady grind of caregiving. "I know loss," Hope had said simply when Gabrielle asked why she was applying for a live-in position that paid more than most teachers made. "And I know how to make joy out of silence." Gabrielle, exhausted from another fruitless round of specialists and therapies for Lily and Rose, deaf since the car accident that claimed their mother's life 2 years prior, had nodded, signed the check, and retreated back to her empire of luxury real estate developments, where deals closed with handshakes and emotions stayed buried under spreadsheets. But now, standing in the doorway like an intruder in her own home, Gabrielle watched as Hope dipped low, her sundress swirling around her knees, and scooped Rose into a gentle spin. The girl's blue eyes sparkled, her small fingers tracing the air in a sign for more, while Lily clapped silently, her curls bouncing as she stomped her feet to the beat. The twins had barely tolerated touch since Elena's death, flinching at hugs, shying from games, but here they were, alive with the freedom Gabrielle hadn't seen since before the crash. The jazz swelled, Ella Fitzgerald's voice crooning about love's illusions, and Hope caught sight of her employer. She froze mid-twirl, cheeks flushing under the warm lamplight, but didn't let go of Rose. Instead, she signed quickly to the girls, "Mommy's home. Show her our dance." Lily and Rose turned, their faces splitting into grins that hit Gabrielle like a tidal wave, and toddled over, arms outstretched. Gabrielle sank to her knees, the tailored lines of her pencil skirt be damned, and pulled them close. Their warmth seeped through her blouse, a balm against the chill of the air-conditioned mansion. What is this?" she murmured, voice thick, as Hope straightened, smoothing her dress with hands that still trembled slightly from the music's spell. "Just a little end-of-day ritual," Hope replied, her accent a soft lilt from her Puerto Rican roots, carried over from the island via Miami's humid streets. "They love the vibrations from the record player. Helps them feel the beat in their bones." She knelt closer now, her knee brushing Gabrielle's in the rug's weave. Up close, Hope smelled like citrus cleaner and something floral innocent. Nothing like the perfumed executives who circled Gabrielle at galas, hungry for her billions. Gabrielle's throat tightened. Elena had been the dancer, the one who'd fill their old Key West condo with salsa nights, her laughter pulling Gabrielle from late-night closings. After the accident, drunk driver on A1A rain-slicked roads, Gabrielle had sold the condo, moved them to this sterile palace of glass and marble, hired a fleet of specialists who spoke in clinical terms. Joy had become a luxury she couldn't afford. Not when every quiet moment echoed with what-ifs. "Thank you," she whispered, signing it for the girls, who beamed and signed back, "Love you, Mommy," with pudgy fists. Hope's smile was tentative, like she was testing unfamiliar waters. "They're incredible, you know. Full of stories even without words." She ruffled Lily's hair and Gabrielle felt a pang. Not jealousy but envy for this ease Hope brought, a lightness that made the mansion feel less like a tomb. That night, after tucking the twins into their canopy beds with stories signed in the glow of star-shaped nightlights, Gabrielle found Hope in the kitchen, wiping down counters under the pendant lights. The maid's shift was over, but she lingered, pouring 2 glasses of iced tea from the fridge, sweet with lemon the southern way. "For the shock," Hope said, sliding one across the island. "You looked like you'd seen a ghost." Gabrielle accepted it, fingers grazing Hope's, a spark she dismissed as static from the wool rug. Maybe I did. Elena. She used to do that. Dance with them. The words slipped out unbidden, the first crack widening. She hadn't spoken her wife's name aloud in months, not even to her therapist, who billed by the hour and offered platitudes. Hope leaned against the counter, her brown eyes reflecting the moonlight spilling from the terrace doors. I'm sorry. For your loss. The girls. They carry her in their smiles. She paused, choosing words like steps in a careful tango. Grief's a thief, isn't it? Steals the music right out of you. Gabrielle sipped the tea, the sweetness grounding her. At 38, she was a Titan Harlan development span from Palm Beach condos to Miami high-rises, her net worth a number that made headlines. But here in this fluorescent-lit kitchen, she felt exposed, a woman unraveling. How do you do it? Make them laugh like that? They barely let me in anymore. Hope's laugh was low, self-deprecating. Practice. And patience. Back in San Juan, my abuela taught me. Silence isn't empty. It's full of what you choose to fill it with. She demonstrated, hands flowing into a sign for home, then heart. Your girls? They're teaching me to. Lily's got this fierce streak. Reminds me of you. The compliment hung between them, warm as the humid night air seeping through the screens. Gabrielle set her glass down, suddenly aware of the space, or lack thereof, between them. Hope was 32, single, her life a series of temp gigs and shared apartments until this job. No drama, no demands, just quiet competence. Stay for dinner sometime, Gabrielle blurted. Not as the help. A friend. Hope's eyes widened, then softened. I'd like that, Miss Harlan. Gabrielle, she corrected, the name feeling foreign on her tongue, like reclaiming a piece of herself. As Hope nodded and slipped away to her quarters above the garage, Gabrielle lingered, staring at the empty glass. Outside, the Atlantic whispered against the shore, a reminder that waves could erode even the sturdiest walls. The weeks blurred into a rhythm Gabrielle hadn't known she craved. Mornings, she'd wake to the scent of café con leche wafting from the kitchen, Hope already up, signing breakfast commands to the twins while flipping arepas on the griddle, a nod to her heritage that Lily and Rose devoured with sticky fingers. Afternoons, when Gabrielle jetted to meetings in her Gulfstream, Hope sent photos, the girls finger-painting murals of palm trees on the terrace, or conducting an orchestra of seashells, their faces alight with invention. Evenings became sacred, dinner at the long mahogany table, no longer echoing with solitude. Hope joined them now, not as maid but as family, her stories of island festivals and Miami's vibrant art scene weaving through the silences. Gabrielle found herself lingering after the twins' bedtime, the two women sharing wine on the veranda, the city lights twinkling like distant fireflies across the intracoastal. Tell me about your dreams, Gabrielle asked one night, the Cabernet loosening her reserve. The air was thick with jasmine from the garden, fireflies dancing in the salt breeze. Hope traced the rim of her glass, her profile gilded by the lantern light. Used to want the stage. Dance, sing, make people feel something raw. But life pivots. Lost my mom young, had to step up for my little brother. Dreams got shelved. She shrugged, but her eyes held a flicker of regret. What about you? Before all this? She gestured vaguely at the mansion, the empire. Gabrielle leaned back, the wicker chair creaking. Elena and I met in college, NYU art history majors, pretending we were business whizzes. She was fire, I was ice. We built this life then. The accident flashed. Twisted metal, sirens, the doctor's grim face as he explained the bilateral hearing loss. I threw myself into work. It's easier to close deals than hearts. Hope reached across the small table, her hand covering Gabrielle's, warm, callous from chores yet gentle. You're more than your boardrooms, Gabby. The way you look at your girls? That's poetry. The nickname Gabby landed soft, intimate. Gabrielle didn't pull away. Instead, she turned her hand, lacing their fingers, the touch electric in the humid night. And you? You're magic with them. With us. Their eyes met, the world narrowing to that veranda. The waves hush, a conspiratorial whisper. Hope's breath hitched and slowly, tentatively, she leaned in. The kiss was featherlight at first, tasting of wine and salt air, then deepening with the pent-up ache of two women who'd forgotten how to want. When they parted, foreheads touching, Hope whispered, Is this okay? More than okay, Gabrielle breathed, her heart a drumbeat echoing the twins' silent dances. From there, stolen moments bloomed like the bougainvillea climbing the trellis. A brush of hands in the kitchen, Hope's laughter muffled against Gabrielle's neck during a twin-induced pillow fort collapse. Nights when the girls slept and the women explored each other with the reverence of rediscovery. Hands mapping scars, lips tracing promises. It was romance in the quiet spaces, laced with the drama of secrecy. Gabrielle's world of high society expectations, where whispers of the widow Harlan carried barbs, and Hope's fear of overstepping, of being the hired help who dared to love the boss. But cracks formed. Whispers from Gabrielle's assistant, Marcus, about inappropriate attachments. A tense lunch with her brother Victor, the family lawyer, who eyed Hope serving salad and muttered, "Careful, sis. Attachments like that complicate estates." And then the betrayal neither saw coming. It started with a letter, slipped under the mansion's door one muggy morning. Anonymous, typed on plain stock. "Ask your maid about the clinic in Miami. The one where dreams die." Gabrielle's stomach knotted as she drove south that afternoon. Twins at preschool, Hope off running errands. The clinic was nondescript, tucked in Little Havana. Women's Health Center sign faded. Inside, the receptionist recognized the name Ruiz immediately. Hope? Yeah, she was here last year. Ovarian cysts benign, thank God. But the fertility stuff? Rough. Doc said chances slim after. Gabrielle's world tilted. Hope hadn't mentioned it. Not the pain, not the quiet grief of a body that might never carry life. Why hide it? Was it shame? Or something darker, pity? Had Hope known about the twins' needs, seen an opening to embed herself, to play the savior for a paycheck? Confrontation came that evening. Storm clouds gathering over the ocean like Gabrielle's fury. Hope arrived home, arms laden with groceries, only to find Gabrielle in the study, letter clutched like a weapon. "What is this?" Gabrielle demanded, voice low to spare the girls napping upstairs. Hope's face drained of color, bags thudding to the floor. Oranges rolling like accusations. "Gabby, it's not. The clinic. Fertility tests. You never said." Gabrielle's eyes burned. "Were you using this? Me? The girls? To fill some void?" The words landed like slaps, Hope recoiling as if struck. "No. Dios, no. It was private. Painful. I didn't want pity, didn't want you to see me as broken." Tears welled, but her chin lifted, fire in her gaze. "And yeah, maybe I saw the hurt in you, in them. But I stayed because I fell hard. For all of you." Gabrielle laughed bitterly, the sound hollow. "Convenient. The devoted maid, dancing her way into our hearts. Victor warned me. Attachments complicate things." Hope's hurt twisted into anger. "Complicate? This isn't a merger, Gabrielle. It's love. Messy real. If you can't see that, maybe I don't belong here." The door to the study flew open then, Lily and Rose tumbling in, woken by the raised voices, vibrations traveling through the floors. Their eyes darted, confusion signing on their faces. "Mommy sad? Hope mad." Gabrielle knelt, forcing a smile, signing all okay, loves. "Go play." But as Hope gathered the groceries and fled to the kitchen, the twins' worried glances pierced deeper than any letter. That night, the mansion felt like a battlefield. Silence thicker than the storm brewing outside. Gabrielle paced the veranda, rain lashing the palms, replaying the accusation. Betrayal stung, yes, but so did the truth Hope hurled back. Love wasn't a complication. It was the complication she'd been running from since Elena. By midnight, thunder rumbling like her regrets, Gabrielle found Hope in the garage apartment, curled on the futon, eyes red-rimmed. "I'm sorry," Gabrielle said, stepping into the dim space, the door clicking shut behind her. "I lashed out because I'm scared of feeling this much again." Hope sat up, wiping her face. "Me too. The cysts. They took options I didn't know I wanted till they were gone. But you, the girls, you make me whole anyway." They talked till dawn, words and signs weaving a fragile bridge. Confessions of fears, dreams deferred. The raw ache of building family from fragments. When the rain eased, Gabrielle pulled Hope close, their embrace a vow against the world's judgments. "Stay," she whispered. "Not as maid. As mine." Hope nodded, tears mingling with smiles. "Always." But drama, in West Palm's glittering underbelly, rarely yields to simple resolutions. Victor's meddling escalated, hiring a PI, digging into Hope's past, unearthing a teenage shoplifting charge from Miami, a desperate act for her brother's medicine. She's gold digging, he insisted over brunch at the Breakers, silverware clinking like judgments. Think of the girls. The legacy. Gabrielle's retort was steel. Legacy? Elena would have hated this cold calculus. Hope's family now. The real storm hit at the annual Harlan Foundation Gala. A glittering affair in the Seaview Ballroom. Crystal chandeliers, ocean views, donors in tuxes sipping vintage champagne. Gabrielle had invited Hope as her plus one, a quiet statement amid the whispers. The twins stayed with a sitter, but their absence weighed a reminder of stakes. Hope shone in a borrowed emerald gown, her curls pinned with hibiscus, but eyes darted nervous at the elite crowd. Then Victor cornered them near the bar, martini in hand, face flushed. Enjoying the charade, Hope? Or should I say Ms. Ruiz, the one with the juvie record? Gasps rippled, heads turned. Hope paled, hand tightening on Gabrielle's arm. That was years ago. My brother was sick. Details, Victor sneered. But it paints a picture. Grifter in a maid's apron. Gabrielle stepped forward, voice a whip. Enough, Vic. You're fired from family from the firm. Get out. The ballroom hushed, then buzzed like a hive disturbed. Victor stormed off, but damage lingered. Texts from board members questioning distractions. Society pages poised for scandal. Hope slipped away to the terrace, rain-scented air cooling her burning cheeks. Gabrielle followed, finding her gripping the railing, shoulders shaking. I can't ruin this for you, Hope choked. The girls need stability. I need you, Gabrielle cut in, turning her gently. The city sprawled below, lights blurring through tears. We face it together. Scandals fade. Love endures. They kissed under the stars, fierce and unyielding, a declaration against the tide. Yet climax brewed in subtler shadows. Weeks later, a doctor's call. Hope's follow-up scans clear, but a chance slim via IVF, for the family they'd whispered about in quiet nights. Elation warred with fear. Gabrielle's empire demanded her, but home called louder. The turning point came on a crisp December eve, holiday lights twinkling along Worth Avenue. The twins, bundled in scarves, dragged them to the beach for a snowman of sand, impossible in Florida. But their invention knew no bounds. Hope signed Castle instead, and they built, laughter signing in the air. Gabrielle watched, heart full as lily-molded turrets, rose adding seashell flags. Hope caught her eye, signing perfect. And in that moment, with waves lapping and gulls crying, Gabrielle knew. Betrayal's scar had healed into strength, conflict forging deeper bonds. But life, ever the dramatist, reserved one final twist. Victor, unbowed, leaked the story to Page 6. Billionaire widow's steamy maid affair. Photos grainy but damning from the gala. Reporters swarmed the gates, flashbulbs piercing the privacy hedges. Gabrielle faced them from the driveway, Hope at her side, twins shielded inside. Yes, we're together, she announced, voice steady over the din. Love doesn't follow scripts. It rewrites them. She signed it too, for the cameras, a bold stroke. The crowd murmured, then parted. Headlines shifted. From scandal to inspiration, tales of resilience rippling through Palm Beach's veins. In the end, as New Year's dawned with fireworks over the ocean, the Harlans, Gabrielle, Hope, Lily, Rose, danced on the terrace. No music but the waves, no words but signs and touches. Victor faded to irrelevance, therapy mending what family couldn't. Hope's dreams revived in community theater. Gabrielle's empire softened by purpose. Tears came that night, not of sorrow but release. Gabrielle's, as Hope vowed forever under the stars. Human, flawed, unbreakable. A family forged in silence, singing its own song. The morning after the press conference, sunlight pierced the mansion's blinds like accusatory fingers, but Gabrielle woke to the scent of fresh empanadas, Hope's quiet rebellion against the chaos. Downstairs, the twins were oblivious, stacking blocks into wobbly towers while Hope narrated in animated signs, her face a canvas of determination. Pancakes today, she declared when Gabrielle entered, sliding a plate across the island, golden, dusted with powdered sugar, a comfort from her abuela's recipes. Gabrielle managed a smile, but her phone buzzed relentlessly. Voicemails from investors, Texts from allies distancing themselves. They'll come around, she said, more to convince herself. Hope nodded, but worry etched lines around her eyes, the kind that spoke of too many mornings wondering if today was the day the world pushed back too hard. By noon, the first real casualty arrived. A curt email from the board, calling an emergency meeting. Stability concerns, it read. Code for your personal life is tanking our stock. Gabrielle dressed in armor, crisp white blouse, pearl earrings, Elena's last gift, and kissed the girls goodbye, Hope's hand lingering on her back. We've got this, Hope whispered. But as Gabrielle drove to the corporate tower overlooking the lagoon, doubt gnawed like the gators in the mangroves. The boardroom was a shark tank. Gray suits circling, projections flickering with dipping quarterly figures. Gabrielle, darling, purred Margaret Voss, the silver-haired venture capitalist who'd backed her first deal. We adore progress, but this. Optics. The twins, the foundation, vulnerable. Optics. Gabrielle's laugh was sharp, echoing off the glass walls. I've tripled our portfolio in 2 years. My family isn't a line item. But it is, interjected Tom Riley, the CFO, charts in hand. Victor sent these leaks, speculation. Investors spook easy. Victor's name ignited her. My brother's a bitter fool. Fire him if you must, but don't lecture me on family. The vote was swift. Probationary oversight. A consultant to advise on personal matters. Humiliation burned as she stormed out, phoning Hope from the elevator. It's bad. They want control. Hope's voice was steady, laced with that island resilience. Come home. We'll figure it. Home. The word anchored her through the traffic snarl on Okeechobee Boulevard, past strip malls and swaying palms. Pulling into the drive, she spotted the twins on the lawn, Hope pushing them on swings, silent arcs of joy against the blue sky. Lily signed Mommy Fly. Mimicking airplane arms, Rose added Hi. Gabrielle joined them, the swings creak a metronome to her unraveling. That evening, over takeout from Renato's, pasta drenched in marinara, because cooking felt like surrender, they plotted. Hope spread napkins as maps, sketching donor calls, PR spins. Lean into the human, she said. Your story, grief, love, the girls. It's relatable. Gabrielle traced Hope's hand on the tablecloth. Our story. The shift felt monumental, this us against the storm. But betrayal's shadow lingered. Late that night, as rain pattered the roof, Gabrielle's phone lit with a text from an unknown number. Ask Hope about the settlement. $50,000 from Elena's estate? Coincidence? Attached. A bank transfer screenshot, dated weeks after the accident, Hope's name, Harlan Foundation charity arm. Her blood ran cold. Elena's estate? Hope had been in Miami then, not even employed. Racing upstairs, she burst into the garage apartment, document in hand. Explain this. Hope, in pajamas, hair tousled from sleep, blinked at the screen. What, Gabby, that's not. $50,000. From my wife's foundation. You applied? For what? Tears sprang to Hope's eyes, but she held firm. After the accident, news everywhere. I read about Elena, the crash. My cysts were acting up, medical bills piling. I applied for aid anonymously. Got approved. It saved me, let me get stable enough for this job. Her voice cracked. I didn't know it'd come back like this. Victor. He must have dug deeper. Gabrielle reeled, pieces slotting cruelly. You profited from her death? From our pain? No. Hope surged forward, hands signing desperately, truth, love. It was survival, not scheming. I swear when I met you it was fate, not calculation. The room spun, trust fracturing like fine china. Gabrielle backed away. I need space. To think. She fled to the guest wing, locking the door, sobs racking her as thunder rolled. Dawn brought no clarity, only exhaustion. Downstairs, Hope had left a note. Taking the girls to the aquarium. Call when ready. I love you. The emptiness echoed. A mansion stripped bare. The aquarium outing was Hope's masterstroke. Dolphins gliding in azure tanks. The twins' faces pressed to glass, signing swim fast. Videos flooded Gabrielle's phone. Each one a hook tugging her back. By midday, guilt gnawed. Hope hadn't run, hadn't packed. Instead, she'd chosen light for the girls, even as her world crumbled. Gabrielle arrived as they exited, ice cream cones dripping in the heat. Lily ran to her, signing "Missed you," chocolate smeared on her cheek. Rose hung back, thumb in mouth, eyes wary. Hope met her gaze, neutral, protective. "They're wiped. Nap time." "Stay," Gabrielle said, voice raw. In the car, silence thick as the humidity, she broke. "I'm sorry. Again. Victor's poison. It's in me too." Hope glanced in the rearview, girls dozing in boosters. "We're both scarred. But scars don't define us." That night, therapy, joint sessions now with Dr. Leong, a soft-spoken expert in queer family dynamics. "Betrayal thrives in secrets," the doctor signed and spoke, interpreting for all. "But forgiveness? It's a choice rebuilt brick by brick." Bricks they laid. Hope sharing clinic files, raw journals of pain. Gabrielle confessing boardroom sabotage fears. Victor's long jealousy since their fathers will favored her. Laughter crept in two twin pranks with flower bombs. Hope teaching salsa steps on the terrace. Gabrielle's two left feet fumbles drawing giggles. Yet conflict simmered externally. The consultant arrived. Evelyn Hart, a polished fixer with a clipboard and a smile like a contract. "Image rehab," she cooed over coffee. "Separate residences for now? Discretion with Ms. Ruiz." Gabrielle's jaw set. "Out." Evelyn persisted. Lunches turning interrogations. The twins' future schools trusts. Attachments can cloud judgment. Hope overheard one from the hall, and that night, over wine, she confronted. "Am I a liability? Say it." "No," Gabrielle insisted, pulling her close. "You're my clarity." Their lovemaking was tender, reaffirming, bodies entwined in the master suite. Whispers of stay, always. But dawn brought Evelyn's ultimatum, relayed via email. Resign or face a shareholder vote. Climax crested at the next board meeting, Valentine's Eve, hearts ironically adorning the agenda. Gabrielle entered alone, Hope waiting in the lobby with takeout sushi. A warrior's meal. Inside, accusations flew. Nepotism. Distraction. Tom thundered, Victor's proxy lurking in the wings. Gabrielle stood, voice thunder. "I've built this from ashes. Elena's death could have broken me, but I rose, for the company, for my girls. Hope? She's the grace in that rising. Fire me if you dare. But you'll lose the heart of Harlan." Silence, then applause, Margaret leading, eyes misty. "Damn right." All in favor of standing down the consultant. Eyes rippled. Victory tasted sweet but hollow without sharing. Rushing to the lobby, Gabrielle found it empty, Hope gone, a note. "Board first. Proud of you. At home with the loves." Home. The mansion aglow with string lights, twins in heart pajamas, Hope stringing paper garlands. "We made Valentines," Rose signed, thrusting a lopsided card. Stick figures dancing. Gabrielle swept them up, tears pricking. Best win ever. As February unfolded, romance deepened in mundane miracles. Beach picnics with kite flying, Hope's ASL story hours at the library drawing crowds, Gabrielle mentoring queer entrepreneurs, her foundation pivoting to inclusive family grants. Victor's final betrayal, a lawsuit over mismanagement, crumbled under evidence of his embezzlement, exposed by Hope's quiet tip to auditors. Spring brought renewal. Hope's IVF consults, odds better than feared, a spark of maybe baby hope. No rush, they agreed, just possibility, like the twins' first signed sentences, full of wonder. Yet drama's echo lingered in small ways. A donor's snub, a tabloid snide aside. Each tested, each pass, bond stealing. One twilight on Peanut Island, ferry ride with the girls, hammocks swaying. They watched bioluminescent waves glow. Lily signed magic water, Rose family glow. Hope leaned into Gabrielle. "What now?" "Now? We keep dancing." Tears welled, not from pain but profound gratitude, for betrayal's forge, conflict's clarity, love's quiet triumph. Summer descended on West Palm Beach like a fever dream, humidity wrapping the city in a perpetual embrace, mirroring the heat building in the Harlan household. Not from tension, but from the slow unfurling of dreams long dormant. The twins turned 7 in June. A bash on the terrace with piñatas bursting confetti, and Hope's tres leches cake sinking under layers of dulce de leche. Gabrielle watched from the sidelines, camera in hand, capturing Lily's triumphant candy grab. Rose's shy delight at a new ASL picture book. Victor's absence loomed, his lawsuit dismissed with a gag order. But his shadow had faded, replaced by allies. Margaret sending border bees for the girls, Dr. Liang joining for barbecues, sharing tales of her own blended family. Hope thrived in the light, enrolling in night classes at Palm Beach State. Choreography, with a focus on inclusive dance for the deaf community. For them, she'd say, signing to the twins during practice sessions in the living room, their small bodies mirroring her fluid spins. Gabrielle sponsored it quietly, a trust fund for education, but Hope insisted on earning her way. Independence isn't charity, it's roots. Roots they planted literally too. A garden out back, raised beds bursting with tomatoes and herbs, the girls' hands in soil learning grow in patience. Gabrielle, ever the planner, mapped irrigation like a development plot, but it was Hope who taught surrender. Let the rain do its work. You can't control the bloom. Romance wove through it all, subtle as sea glass on the shore. Morning coffees on the veranda, feet tangled under the table. Stolen kisses in the pantry amid grocery stacks. Evenings with the girls asleep, bodies entwined on the couch, Netflix forgotten for whispers of futures. Kids of our own? Gabrielle mused one night, tracing Hope's abdomen, the scar faint from surgeries. Hope's eyes sparkled, vulnerable. If it's meant. But these two, they're our miracle already. Yet as August heat peaked, conflict stirred anew. Not from without but within. Hope's classes clashed with a foundation trip to New York. A queer youth summit. Gabrielle keynote. Go, Hope urged, packing her bag. Inspire. I'll hold the fort. The summit was electric. Panels on visibility, workshops on resilient love. Gabrielle spoke of Elena's fire, Hope's grace, the twins' unyielding joy, drawing tears, applause, a viral clip that reframed her scandal as story. But midway, a call. Rose feverish, ear infection flaring. An irony cruel for deaf ears but pain universal. Gabrielle cut the keynote short, chartering a jet home. Landing at Palm Beach International under stormy skies, she raced to the hospital, heart in throat. Hope met her in the lobby, exhausted but calm. Tamponade scare, fluid buildup. She's stable on antibiotics. In the room, Lily curled by her sister's bed, signing sleep now while Rose dozed for dripping. Hope slumped in a chair, coffee cold. I caught it early. Vibes were off. She tugged her ear. Gabrielle sank beside her, gripping her hand. You saved her. Hope shook her head. Team effort. But I froze, thinking worst. What if I'm not enough? The vulnerability cracked Gabrielle open. You are. More than. Recovery bonded them tighter. Sick days with popsicles and puppet shows, Hope's dances adapted to bedside chairs. But the scare unearthed deeper fears, hopes of inadequacy in this world of wealth. Gabrielle's of losing control again, echoes of the crash. Fall brought harvest. The gardens yield in salsas, twins starting school with Hope's advocacy ensuring ASL aids. Romance peaked at a harvest moon picnic on the beach, blankets spread, lanterns glowing. The girls chasing ghost crabs while the women slow danced to a portable speaker's jazz. I love you, Gabrielle said, nuzzling Hope's neck, the words a ritual now but tonight waited. Marry me. Hope stilled, then pulled back, eyes searching. Gabby. Yes. But legally? Here. Florida's laws had shifted. Same-sex marriage etched in stone since Obergefell, but societal thorns lingered. Together, Gabrielle affirmed. Vows our way. The proposal rippled. Rings simple, gold bands engraved with dance in Braille and ASL script. A ceremony intimate on the terrace at sunset. Dr. Liang officiating, Margaret and a dozen close souls witnessing. The twins in flower crowns sign vows with help. Family forever. Honeymoon with staycation, mansion to themselves, spa days, sunset sails. But reality intruded upon return. A donor pullout citing family distractions in a veiled barb. Gabrielle weathered it, Hope's shoulder her rock. Winter holidays amplified warmth. Hanukkah lights mingling with a Christmas tree, Hope's traditions blending. Eras congandles alongside lax. New Year's they renewed. Resolutions scrawled on paper lanterns, released to the stars. Climax crested unexpectedly. In quiet profundity. Spring equinox, Hope's IVF cycle greenlit. Embryos from a donor, a cousin's gift. Consults tense, Hope's fragile. Then positive, twins implanted, one taking hold. Joy exploded. Ultrasounds with the girls signing baby sister? Amid giggles. But at 12 weeks, spotting bedrest fears vice. Gabrielle canceled a Tokyo deal, sleeping on the nursery floor. Hope, brave through nausea, confessed, "If it doesn't stick, I'm still full." It did. Delivery in July under full moon. Isabella Ruiz Harlan cries, piercing the birthing suite, deaf like her big sisters but fierce. The twins met her first, tiny fingers signing mine. Betrayal's ghost? Vanquished in that room, Victor's final plea for reconciliation, post-prison for fraud, met with boundaries, supervised visits for the girls' sake. Years folded. Isabella toddling into dances, the quintet a whirlwind of signs and steps. Gabrielle stepped back from CEO board chair, now mentoring women like Hope once was. Hope's troupe flourished, silent symphonies touring Florida, empowering deaf artists. One anniversary, back on that veranda where it began, Gabrielle pulled Hope to dance. No music but waves, twins and baby asleep inside. "What happened next?" she teased, echoing the world's curiosity. Hope smiled, eyes crinkling. "Tears. The good kind. And this us unbroken." Gabrielle teared up, pulling her close. In West Palm's endless summer they'd found winter's depth. Love not as fairy tale but testament, human, scarred, eternal.